Okay, hello YouTube, hello everyone. I'm here today with my attorney extraordinaire, immigration attorney Joaquin Rosales.
Haven't done my taxes, I'm too turned up. Haven't done my taxes, I'm too turned
And
up.
this tweet just recently came out by Donald Trump. He just tweeted about shutting down the borders, shutting down immigration for the foreseeable future in an effort to fight the COVID-19. And what I want to know is what this all means. So I brought my immigration attorney in here, and I have some questions for him, and we're gonna really go through it. So first, if you have the tweet, I'll bring it up, and then we can. I'll just read it. So if you haven't seen it, obviously President Trump tweets a lot, so there's a lot of tweets, but this one I think he's gonna look into. So it says Trump will sign executive order temporarily suspending immigration. So he says, in light of the attack from the invisible enemy, as well as the need to protect the jobs of our great American citizens, I will be signing an executive order to temporarily suspend immigration into the United States. So, without further ado, Joaquin, what's going to happen? Are they going to stop all immigration?
Well, the short answer is nobody knows really what's going to happen. Like I said, he tweets all the time. Tweets are not official policy. Until he makes it an official executive order, then we won't know exactly what's going on. But the good news is that within the next couple of days, we should know exactly what he meant, and then we can come back and tell you exactly what this means. Well, he's attempting to sort of halt the immigration system for a little bit. I'm not really sure what the purpose of it is. He claims it's to sort of contain the spread of the COVID. Seems like the country already is facing a pretty large
It's
infection rate. So I'm not sure how that's going to help. But regardless, I think it might be political. But if it really goes down as it seems like he wants it to go down, it seems like he wants to put a halt on just basically finishing the process of green card emission for people who are in the last stages, and for the next 2 months sort of stop any sort of immigration, permanent residency related immigration.
Isn't there already a travel ban from Europeans coming here? Is that
so I mean, this changes all the time. So yes, there's certain bans that have been instituted throughout this whole pandemic. So we don't really know exactly what he means. We don't really know if he means specifically in terms of travel or just simply in terms of issuance of green cards and non-immigrant work-related visas.
Mm-hmm.
So we really don't know. So we sort of assume that he's going to try to put some sort of a stop. Once again, everything that he does, not he, but the president does, can be challenged in court, and as it typically works out with this president, he most likely will be challenged in federal court. So we don't know if this is actually going to take effect. And it's going to be reversed within a month or so. So we don't really know.
Has this ever happened before? A president you do an executive order to pause immigration?
No, not to this level. And he's known to push the limits in this presidency, but he's definitely pushed the limits in the immigration realm. In terms of travel bans, he's definitely done stuff that nobody has done before. Even before the pandemic, and then
but travel is more advanced than it ever has been. To be fair,
yeah.
It's more advanced and popular. So I guess it's like
Correct.
Nixon wouldn't have done a travel ban when
right
or something like I'm just saying
right,
for example, right?
To answer your question, he's done a lot in terms of banning
using his powers, right?
Using his powers to ban some sort of legal or illegal immigration as much as possible.
So for people that have pending applications, if you submitted your EB2 application or your EB3 application, what does that likely mean? Does that mean they're just going to shut down the offices?
Once again, I can't really speculate until we have an official executive order. But from what immigration attorneys are talking, government officials. Obviously, we have a lot of platforms for which we communicate with each other to get a hold of an understanding of what possibly this could mean, and it's looking like perhaps there's going to be a stop, but it's going to be a temporary stop. Once again, it's most likely going to get challenged in court, so we don't know how far that can go. So that might be his main intention, but I can't really tell you until we have the official executive order draft.
Well, I can tell you about the IRS because that's what I do as taxes.
Yeah.
Is they're not. There's no like executive order shutting down the IRS, but they're not really open and they're not really getting paper applications done. Everything's done electronically. So
Correct.
they have, from what I've been reading, is all the paper tax returns and everything they can't get through because they don't have the manpower, and it's all just getting put in trailers.
Right.
And I think I think this is more how I interpret this executive order is more of like just all the USCIS officers just stop working for a month or two, and
once again, I don't.
And he just it sounds like he'd be dramatizing the executive order stopping immigration. Is more just like shutting down everything in general.
Yeah, once again, I don't want to speculate, but like I mean, if we do speculate into what he tried to speculate,
We're here to speculate, Joaquin.
Right?
We're here to speculate.
I mean, I would assume that he'll try to at least stop exactly like you said the process of finishing the issuance of permanent residencies or issuance of visas that are work related. He's claiming that he's trying to do it in order to protect the American worker. Once again, there's tons of jobs in here that are done by immigrants or are not done by American workers, both because they can't or they don't want to. So look, once again, that's his own policy. In terms of the repercussions, we're here to try to inform you guys about it. We can speculate that if he goes through with everything that he's claiming that he's going to go through in his tweets and what he's saying out loud, then perhaps there's going to be a temporary stop of issuance of visas or residencies. Once again, I am pretty sure it will be challenged and it might be reversed and or limited depending on how the courts view his powers in terms of this pandemic.
So what's everyone saying about when it's going to happen? So if he says he wants to do an executive order and to do this and he actually follows through with it, would it be something that maybe happens next week? It goes on for a month, gets challenged, and stops for like a month.
So unlike our system as a whole and how people are familiar with the system that we live in, the democratic system that we live in, checks and balances. When it comes to immigration, it's not a sort of separate realm where the president has to get approval through Congress, right, to get laws enacted, etc. Right. The president and the executive branch have extreme power, have a lot of power, right, and deference, and it's given a lot of deference.
They can just move faster, right?
They
can just move super fast.
Well, they can just make policy.
Okay, for immigration?
For immigration. They can change policy for immigration. So that's the difference, and that's where we find ourselves in right now, where basically the president can do all sorts of attempts to stifle or whatever it is that he wants to do immigration. He can push the limits, right? So to answer your question, the executive order, he announced it 2 days ago, a day and a half ago at night. His team, I'm sure, is working really fast in order to have the actual draft of the executive order. This could be done today, right? Could be signed today.
Okay.
We should know the details by tomorrow. Obviously the agencies have to scramble to come up with a plan, right? They're going to put forth and say, okay, from now on, we're not taking applications. From now on, we are taking applications.
Shutting down is an easy plan, right?
Yeah. It's there's a lot more to it, right? And once again, in terms of the courts, the second it's official and he puts that ink into paper, you're going to see people filing lawsuits.
The big immigration firms are going to sue automatically.
Yeah, well,
there's
a bunch of entities as well. The ACLU.
Oh, sure.
Also AILA, American Immigration Lawyers Association.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of entities out there that, not particularly law firms that will sue, but
it's not entities will do it.
Yeah, no, it could be firms representing their clients as well. But yeah, so we shall see soon, and hopefully we'll have a little bit more clear picture of what's going on.
So what advice do you have for people who are interested in immigrating or who are in the middle of the process immigrating to the U.S., who want residency? What advice do you have for anyone wanting to come here right now?
I mean, once again, like we've seen, this president has tried to stifle and prevent immigration with all sorts of ways. And he's been challenged over and over again, and he's lost a lot of those. So I wouldn't be worried too much. Obviously, given the current situation, the federal courts might feel that he has a little bit more leeway, but obviously there's got to be reason behind it. I don't see how, if we are already the country that has the most infections in the
right.
world, how you can logically put forth that the reasoning behind this stop of immigration is to put a stop to.
Well, the people that are getting
that, you know?
people that are getting, if they're stopping granting permanent residency, most of those people are already here, right?
Yeah, well, a lot of them are, and then it's family members. There's a lot of family members, American citizens who are petitioning their family members from outside,
Sure.
and they've been waiting for 10 years. I mean, there's a backlog, for Mexico for family petitions. For, say, if a brother is petitioning for you could wait for 15 years, and that person could have literally been at the last stage where he just has to go to an interview at their consulate and say Mexico City, and then all of a sudden everything stopped. 15 years of waiting stops because of this, right? So there's there's a lot of people who are being affected, families, a lot of people who work here, and big employers in tech and agriculture and all sorts of fields in this country. They actually need immigrants, and it's a major need. So I don't think this is going to be something that is going to be stopped. I don't think that the courts are going to allow such an expansive, just complete halt to immigration. So I wouldn't worry overall, and I think that eventually everything is going to be okay.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, this is a video purely speculation.
Yep.
When the law actually, when something's signed and there's some new law or some executive order, we'll make another video and we'll go over what is happening and what we expect to happen then. But for now, this is kind of the speculation. Just kind of wait and see what he signs and go from there. And if you're interested in immigrating to the U.S., getting a visa or permanent residency or anything, you can contact Joaquin or I, and we're happy to. I'm just going to introduce you to Joaquin, but we're happy to help. And thanks for listening, and we'll be here. We'll be here tomorrow for more videos. Thanks.